Hi guys, I'm back today with a short video just about some comics that I've read recently. I thought rather than just kind of saving them all up and then doing one big, this is what I've read recently, I'll do it kind of in stages, incrementally. First of all, I'd like to tell you about the Comixology app that I downloaded the other day, which has just revolutionised my life forever and I love it. And you can download comics straight onto your phone, you just pay like sort of the issue price. So that's the app that I've downloaded and I've been loving it, and just go and download it because it will change your life too, trust me. So the first comic that I downloaded was Conan vs. Red Sonja, which was written by Gail Simone. I know I like her work because I love the Batgirls that she's written. So I thought I'd have a look at another sort of franchise that she's worked with, and I think she's done an awful lot of work for Red Sonja, but I just downloaded this one issue of this one like sort of arc just to see how I got on with it. Really liked it. Really good. I love the drawing. I think I need a little bit more time just to kind of get to know the characters, but so far Sonja's great, and I love her little relationship with Conan, and the fact that he isn't at all threatened by the fact that she could have him in a fight. I love that. Just, oh Conan, you're so comfortable with your masculinity, I love it. So I'm really enjoying that. I'm going to download some more, but I'm kind of waiting because I've got a lot of other stuff to get through, but it was really interesting just to give it a little read while I was getting my hair did. Yeah, I really liked it. The next one that I read is Grant Morrison's Annihilator. This series is just fantastic. It's everything that I need in comics that I don't even know I need, and I always think that's a good thing. There is absolutely amazing artwork in this. I was just blown away. It's just such artwork porn. I love it. The colouring, everything is just beautiful, and I've never really noticed colouring myself before. This style looks a bit dull or something, but you know, this comic is so visually stunning that you kind of have to pay attention to stuff like that, and I was just loving it from start to finish. There will be many places on the internet that will be able to do a much better review of what actually happens in Annihilator than what I can do for you now, but in a very succinct little nutshell, there's kind of two stories going on. One is in a house of a screenwriter in LA. When he's trying to write a film, he finds out that he has an irreparable brain tumour and he's doing all the drugs and all the hookers and all the things that are bad, and he's writing this screenplay. Meanwhile, on the edge of the Annihilator, which is a supermassive black hole in the centre of our universe, there is an abandoned planet and there is a man stranded on it trying to bring his girlfriend back from the dead, and they are interlinked, and I won't tell you how because I loved it and I loved discovering it, so I'm not going to ruin it for you, but definitely read it. Just Another one that you should read if you're in the mood for it is Allen Was Providence. I am going to do a proper full-length review of that at some point, but, and there is always a but, and here it is. I was really shocked and really surprised when I started reading it that it actually uses the Yellow King and the Yellow Sign and all that sort of stuff that I was talking about in my earlier video that I found through True Detective, and then I've done some research since and I found loads and loads of books where it's mentioned and who kind of started it, and the fact that it's in H.P. Lovecraft, and I've been meaning to read him for ages, but I do find it quite difficult to get into, so I'm going to have to sit down and really try and do those, and I'm going to try and review them all together in one video, which is going to take me hours and hours and hours, but I am going to do that at some point. I also read DC Comics Bombshells. I only really downloaded this because I really wanted to see all of these like female superheroes in the sort of 1940s we can do it kind of clothing, and I love that. I didn't really care about the story. I will reread it again to see if I do this time, but I didn't care about it. It was just more sort of just to see the artwork and what they've done with the styling of them, which I think is really cool. So I did tell you that I've been reading a few books recently, and I have, but there's only two that I'm going to talk to you about today. One of them is The Future is Japanese. I saw Books and Pieces mention this on her channel because she's reading it and sort of judging it for her science fiction awards, which are going to be great, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this. But I thought I would give it a read and see what the fuss was about, because I don't really read short stories, and yeah, I thought it would be interesting and a bit of a change, and it is so good. There are, I think I'm about 48% through according to my Kindle, and I've read sort of 5 of the short stories in there. They are all really, really good, but there are two in particular so far that stand out for me, and I will tell you what they are in 1 second if I can locate my Kindle in the room. How the fluff have I put that? I tidied it away, and of course I couldn't find it. So the two from this book that I absolutely loved, and I'm going to have to read the name of it now because I can't remember things for very long. So the first one that I really liked was The Indifference Engine by Project Ito, and it was translated into English by Edwin Hawkes. And that one is about sort of child soldiers that are recruited to kill this other race of people, and then when the war is over they have to adjust to life without constant combat and having had hate drilled into their hearts for so many years. And they just told, oh no, forget about that now, the war's over. The other one I really liked was the first one in the actual book. Now, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of this, I am so sorry in advance, but I believe it's called Mono no Aware. I'm guessing it's Aware rather than Aware, by Ken Liu. It's about the last of humanity. There's not very many left at all, and they're all on this pod being taken to a different planet to settle there because the world, it's basically gone now. So they send off all these people, and the guy that it mainly focuses on is the last like surviving member of the Japanese race. There are no more, he is the only one. And it's just, you know, over a day, couple of days of his life around the pod, and you really get into it. And I completely bought that this pod was flying through space and heading towards this planet, and I will not tell you what happens, but wow, it was a really short story as well compared to the other one that I like. This was probably about half the length, but it was mesmerising, and it was good. What I probably should have mentioned about the future of Japanese, and I don't know why I'm showing you my Kindle because now you can see anything, is that every single story in there is either written by a Japanese author or written by a Western author but set in Japan, and it's very good. And there's a fantasy one as well, the bits and pieces mentioned, so when I finish this I would be very tempted to check that out as well, just to see. The other book I've read recently is going to be a bit out of left field considering everything else I've mentioned in this video. It looks like it just doesn't fit at all, but I discovered a musician. He's a classical musician, and he'd written a book, and I found out about him because he was on sort of all the big news outlets in England, because his ex-wife had put a super injunction, or tried to put a super injunction on this book coming out, because in it he discussed all of the abuse, like sexual abuse that he suffered as a child. He came across as really eloquent on the TV, and I thought that he might actually write like that as well, and oh my gosh, he does. He writes like he's speaking, he's funny, he's insightful. I mean, this poor man suffered he doesn't even go into it, he doesn't need to. But it's just about how that abuse affected his life, and more importantly it's about how music gave him his life back. And I just found it really inspirational, and so if you're in the mood for something a little bit like that, then definitely check out James Rhodes' Instrumental, because it's beautiful. That's everything I've been reading this week. I hope you guys will comment below, tell me what you've been reading, if you've read any of these, what your opinions of them are, if you've got any recommendations for me, always up for that, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.